ASMR channel. Today we're going to be flicking through this copy of British Vogue, the September 2025 issue that features Michaela Coel, who I think is a brilliant actor and writer. I think the things I've seen her in tend to be quite funny, but my understanding is that she is also quite a dramatic actor. In this video, I'll be using my trusty Apple Pencil, as usual, to do some tracing. And I will also be using this little brush. I'll be using this little brush to do some face brushing and tracing, but just to mix things up a bit compared to the Apple Pencil. So, I hope you're nice and relaxed, and we'll get started. So on the front cover, of course, we've got big Vogue logo, the top, very classic, VOGUE. The big fashion issue. Michaela Coel returns in style. And then we have this photo of Michaela. It's quite like, I don't know, this head dressing looks really cozy. And on the side it says, "Power player, British fashion's new boss. Power moves, the way to work out now." So, let's go ahead and open it. So straight away we have like a fold out, a huge fold out for Ralph Lauren. Looks quite like, okay, I'm really bad at fashion, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. But it looks quite like rural, or almost, I don't know, there's elements of like 60s. But then it also looks kind of ranchy. Does that make sense? This is a very nice glossy paper though. Sounds really nice. Okay. So, we have Gucci, Gucci, Fall Winter 2025 by Catherine Opie. The sound of the paper is so nice. Another Gucci page. Vuitton. Louis. Vuitton. We have Chanel. 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 And it's a nice black and white photo. Wow, look at this. She's wearing like a crossbody, I guess, a crossbody strap or maybe a bag. But it looks like giant pearls. It's actually really cool. And here's another Chanel ad. I feel like this material is such like a classic Chanel material. And with this trim, although usually I feel like I've seen it in brighter colors, so it's quite moody and black. And then the heels, that's cute. Again with the sort of ball motif, like the pearls. Okay, so next is Dolce & Gabbana, D-O-L-C-E and G-A-B-B-A-N-A, Dolce & Gabbana. And it's a black and white spread of what looks like a woman maybe leaving a club. There are other people on the way in, maybe a bouncer here on the right. Next, Giorgio Armani, Giorgioarmani. Giorgio Armani. And here we have someone that looks quite feminine, and it's a sort of suit jacket and nice silk trousers. Next, another Giorgio Armani spread. And this one has some color, still very sharp contrast between the models and the background. But this one on the left has some color. And she's wearing quite a long coat and some pleated pants, or trousers, I guess would be the British phrase. But this model has beautiful cheekbones, and the way the light is catching on their face really accentuates the angles. Okay, so this is a Bottega Veneta spread. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. is full color. I quite like this jacket or fleece. It has like a nice crosshatch, colorful pattern on the outside. But then the lining is this like sheep's wool effect. And a full 2-page spread for Cartier, Cartier. And this ring, which looks like some kind of big cat. It's very beautiful. It looks to be, I assume, silver or maybe platinum, or I guess it could be like titanium or something. Maybe it's not a ring, maybe it's a bracelet, because it's almost too detailed to be a ring. But it has some kind of clear gemstone, as well as these darker black stones, which look like the spots on a big cat. And then it's finished with these two bright green stones for the eyes. Looks really cool. Oh, that's a neat touch. So you can see the model here. Their shadow is a big cat. Okay, McQueen, C-Q-U-E-E-N, McQueen. It's quite a lot of belts. Almost reminds me of like a JRPG or something. Like JRPG character design. Or maybe a straight jacket. Valentino Garavani. Valentino. And then there's two models with very large hats. Very large hats, tights, and not much else. And another 2-page ad for Valentino Garavani. Next we have Fendi, Fendi. And this one is a fold out. And it continues on the next page. Next we have Low Master Aquaterra 30mm coaxial master chronometer. And here we have one of the models is wearing it. And they're whispering to another model. I wonder what they're talking about. Honestly, they don't look that scandalized by whatever the secret is, so maybe they could have shared. So this model who's facing the camera has a middle part. Wavy brown hair. Quite sharp, defined brows. Gorgeous, glowy skin. What looks like subtly winged eyeliner. And then quite a light lip, but with a much darker lip liner, which creates a nice contrast and looks really shiny. Next we have an ad for Givenchy Paris. Givenchy. Givenchy. Okay. I don't know why, but I wasn't expecting an ad for Range Rover. 55 years of Range Rover. 55 years of Range Rover. And it looks like on the left we have so I think this looks like a classic Range Rover, I'm assuming. So this is maybe one of the first models. It's like quite a boxy, vintage, classic look. Nice blue paint. And those mirrors, oh my gosh, wow. What a throwback. And then on the right, we have the sleek, modern, very clean looking Range Rover. Sorry, my dog just sighed behind me. In my opinion, the one on the right does have less character. Like you can see they're doing a sort of two-tone thing. The roof and this side panel and some of the decoration on the alloys. It's a sort of bronze color, while most of the car is this like opally white. But I don't know, that to me looks more recognizable. And then we have a ad for Tiffany on the left. And we have our contents page on page 43. So, contents, CONTENTS, September, SEPTEMBER, newsletter, notices, editor's eye, stockists. Under Vogue scene, we have lights, camera, fit for a queen. Under jewelry, we have comic timing. For spotlight, we have style cancel. And our cover look with Michaela Coel. Michaela Coel wears Second Skin body with padded headband by Alaya. Makeup by MAC Cosmetics. Skin Studio Fix Fluid SPF 15 foundation, £34. Lips Maximal Sleek Satin Lipstick in the Clear, £25. Eyes Eye Kohl in Feline, £20. Brows Pro Brow Definer in Onyx, £24. Hair by Cynthia Harvey. Makeup by Anna Takahashi. Nails by Angel Mi Lin. Set design by Tilly Power. Photographed by Harley Weir. And styling by Nell Kalonji. Under In Vogue, we have Dress the Part. For arts and culture, putting on the blitz. Now and then, back to the start. Viewpoint, dangerous liaisons. Lifestyle, thoroughfare, and folk values, a better fit. When Will Fashion Stop Failing Disabled People by Frances Ryan. Oh, I'm pretty sure I've read articles by that author before. She always has a really interesting point of view. Next we have a spread for Burberry. Oh, this horse. Look at that tail. What a cute horse. So that's Burberry. 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 Okay, it's quite an interesting setup from Loro Piana. I've not heard of this brand before. Loropiana in nice cursive. Loro Piana. And then their logo is this sort of coat of arms with like a tree. So like a lobster. I think it's a lobster. I can't really tell. And 2 stars. Next, a Chanel perfume. CHANEL. Coco Mademoiselle by Chanel Paris. Oh, again with the pearls. Oh, more contents. Cool. I think this is Hublot. 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 And there's this super cute, very grumpy looking cat with brown ears. Very fluffy hair. A sort of lion's mane trim. say he's a boy. And then this bright red watch. So back to our contents. Beauty and wellness. Feel the heat. Director's cut. Up, up and away. Beauty refresh. Interior special. Fashion and features. Keeping it cool. Vogue meets Michaela Coel. Over the horizon. The new guys. A life's work. French Open. Alicia in Wonderland. Come as you are. High country. Vogue asks, what would Alex Canzani do? Okay. So next we have a spread for Lancome, not sure. Lancome, Lancome. La vie est belle, vanille nude. And I'm fairly confident this is Julia Roberts. Though if I'm wrong, that's going to be quite embarrassing. We have an ad for Chloe, CHLOE, an accent, Chloe. Ferragamo Ferrante, Ferragamo Ferrante. We have an ad for Van Cleef and Arpels flower lace clip pendant. Just this very intricate looping gold, resembles a flower with 2 layers of these loops. And then lots of inner stems and some lighter stones. Oh, and then there's a little frog on the lily pad back here. And then we have the editor's letter and another photo of Michaela Coel. The multi-talented Michaela Coel returns on page 178. September is always kind of a big deal in the fashion calendar, though this year that big agenda-setting energy is about to go super huge. The creative directors limbering up to unveil their first collections from major fashion houses this season are almost impossible to name without taking a breath. Oh no, names. Wish me luck. Matthew Blasi at Chanel, Louise Trotter at Bottega Veneta, Pierpaolo Piccioli at Balenciaga, and Jonathan Anderson's women's wear debut for Dior, and the list goes on. Thankfully not for me, because I would not be able to pronounce these names. Next we have an ad for Hermes. Hermes. Hermes, drawing on your mind. The editor's letter continues. watch it. I love her. Yeah, I love her. She's amazing in, obviously, Lord of the Rings. But she's also incredible in Carol. And I think the most recent thing I watched her in was Tar. I watched that earlier this year. I thought that was great. I thought it was really funny. Quite darkly comedic, but very enjoyable. We have an ad for Max Mara, MAXMARA, and this is really cool. It might actually be outdoors, but to me, it looks like a sound stage or like a set from a classic movie. Like this really dramatic landscape against the moody skies. And then the wind blowing the clothes and the model's hair. Looks really cool. Very moody, very evocative. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit now to get some paper sounds. Insert here, which actually, if you choose Dua Lipa, subscribe to Vogue, 6 print issues plus free delivery plus instant digital access plus a free gift from Rituals, all for only £9. I really like this photo shoot with Dua. I think it's cool that she's like quite toned, which makes sense because obviously she's a pop star, but she's very physical. Like her performances are very physical. But I just thought it was cool that you can see like the definition of her body. We need to leave. Yeah, I agree. Oh, wait. We need to leave the shackles of the post. I'm not gonna say that word in case YouTube demonetizes me. Oh my gosh, okay. There we go. Beyonce in her Levi's jeans. Fit for an icon. Beyonce wears the ribcage wide leg. I love that album, Cowboy Carter. It's so dense, but it's the sort of album that, like, only Beyonce could do. Like, her albums are a real production. Like, so many people, so much time, so many inspirations and influences and guests. And she looks amazing, of course, in this denim fit. Those bright red nails. Frances Ryan. I've read her work on The Guardian, and I feel like she's always really thoughtful. A better fit. Overlooking disabled needs is more than a fashion fail, says Frances Ryan as she lays out a style manifesto for inclusion in the industry. When I was 10, I would pretend I was a fashion designer. On a blank A4 page, I sketched out clothes and joy, dresses, shoes, and skirts again and again and again. By the time I hit adulthood, the drawing stopped, but the love of fashion didn't. Growing up with a disability encouraged this, I think. If strangers only saw my wheelchair, a good outfit was a way to reclaim my identity. When I felt chronically ill, aged 32, that outlet vanished overnight. Suddenly, I barely had the energy to clean my teeth, let alone put on a face of makeup. On the better days, I began to apply overpriced moisturizer again. It was a ritual of sorts, a simple way to care for my tired skin, and with it, to feel myself. I was still there, somewhere, underneath my fingertips. Yeah, I really recommend I don't know if this article is online, but definitely worth a read. I think that's Emma Roberts, but my celebrity identification is not incredible. This Bioma, I have one of their moisturizers, though I haven't actually used it yet. It was a recommendation from a friend, but I'm still working my way through my snail cream. Maybe I should do like a skincare or a hair care video. That might be interesting to go over the products I use. Yeah, there we go. Keeping it cool. Actor, writer, director, producer, Michaela Coel has long been Britain's preeminent one-woman creative powerhouse, and now she's back from East London to West Africa with a multitude of enthralling new projects lining the way. Rennie Edo Lodge meets a master at work. Photographs by Harley Weir, styling by Nell Kalonji. Let's see if there's one. That's a great photo. The contrast of Michaela and the bird against that background. We'll go with this one. She has such beautiful, quite prominent cheekbones. And very lustrous skin. And those glassy, shiny eyes. So here, she's got very glossy skin, some blue eyeshadow, at least it looks blue from this angle, and then some dark, almost black lipstick, but very glossy. You can see the highlight. And her collarbones. And this sort of, I'm not sure what you would call this part of an outfit, but very exaggerated. And this quite brightly colored bra. There's a green layer, then a pink layer, and then a lighter pink. And it creates this really sharp contrast against the red background. So our last page. What would Alex Consani do? Advice on life and style from the American model. The most treasured piece in your wardrobe is my Birkin. I've only had her a couple months and she's already a little messed up, but that's the vibe. What does longevity in fashion look like to you? Mental health. Being a model is such a privilege, but it's important to make time for yourself too, so that you actually want to keep doing it. And then we've got quite a severe bun. And quite almost like a no makeup skin look, very glossy, but not a lot of visible contouring. And then quite a dramatic eye. And again, quite a bright but subtle lip color. This really nice necklace. And this gold or champagne, maybe sparkly dress. She looks gorgeous. Vogue values. And that takes us to the back cover, which is a Dior ad. So, thank you very much for watching. If you've made it this far, I think a little different for me. As I said, I'm not super familiar with fashion,